Today, we are going to demystify AI agents. Spoiler alert, they are not the boogeyman coming to take your job, at least just yet. But what they are is like having an amazing assistant ready to do grunt work for you at a really high level 24/7. Now, even if you're not from the world of VC, but you're interested in AI agents, stick around because today we are going to rip the mask off the boogeyman and see what's really underneath. We're also going to build our own real working AI agent right here on LinkedIn. It's going to take us less than 5 minutes. But first, I want to introduce you to my AI agent, a VC associate, if you will. And his name is McLovin. Let's give him a call.
Hi, Donnie. It's McLovin, your trusted AI for VC associate. How may I serve you today?
Hey, McLovin, I just emailed you a deck a few minutes ago, and you sent back a really detailed analysis, but I'm a bit too lazy to read the material. And so could you just give me a summary of the company? I think it's called Monty.
Monty develops and deploys scalable sensors and a full stack IoT platform for harsh, real world environments, targeting underserved sectors like food, waste, and natural resources. They are deployed encompassing windrows, offering excellent synergy with Organics by Gosh in Austin, Texas.
Could you tell me a little bit about the IoT market itself?
The Industrial Internet of Things, IoT total addressable market, was estimated at $438.9 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach $2.146 trillion by 2034, with a 17.20% compound annual growth rate.
That's great. I think I'm going to give them an email. That sounds like a really compelling investment opportunity. Thanks for your help, McLovin.
A draft email to Monty is waiting in Outlook for your review. Have a great day.
Are you ready to build your own McLovin? Let's dig in. We all know AI like ChatGPT can think and reason through problems. Most of us use it every day. An AI agent takes that same thinking power and lets us autonomously perform tasks. It can actually do things, not just talk about them. It can send emails, update spreadsheets, research competitors online, make a report, whatever you need done. And when you build it yourself, you can really fine tune exactly how it behaves and which tools it has access to in order to get the job done. So, how do we build these agents? Remember that word autonomous? A natural place to build them is in automation software. So, today we're going to look at a popular automation tool called N8N. And this is what's actually behind the AI boogeyman mask. And here's the coolest part about N8N, it's completely visual, meaning someone like me with no coding experience can use it to connect powerful AI thinking to real world practical tools and actions and have it run on its own. So behind the scenes, this is N8N, and this is a map of McLovin's brain. Now, don't worry about the complexity for now. This will become much more clear after we build a simple version together step by step. For now, what I want you to know is each one of these boxes represents a step. And in N8N, a step is called a node. You can think of a node as like a single self-contained action or step in a process. Every single node does three simple things. It takes an input, it performs an action, and then it creates an output for the next step. The output from one node is the input for the next one, letting you automatically perform a series of actions down the chain. This whole chain of nodes is called a workflow, and it's designed to mimic a real life workflow you already do. Think about clearing your inbox. A new email arrives, you read the subject line. If it contains the text NFT, you trash it. A workflow just automates those exact steps. The very first node in any workflow is a special type of node called a trigger. Its job is to be the on switch. It waits for a specific event to happen, like a form submission, or in the case of McLovin, a new email with the subject line deck review agent. When that event happens, the trigger fires and the whole chain reaction begins. In N8N, you can actually watch the workflow execute node by node down the chain. Here's where things get spicy. N8N has AI nodes and also has a special node called AI agent. These nodes are where the magic happens. So let's talk about the key difference. Traditional automation nodes act like a train. They follow rigid tracks with if, then, this, that rules. AI agent nodes, on the other hand, are like self driving cars. You give them a destination, like analyze this deck, and they figure out the route on their own. It can use other nodes as tools to help it on its mission. You can also give them guardrails to prevent them from, driving on the sidewalk. But the best way to understand this is by doing. So let's build one together right now. And as I promised, I bet we can build it in under 5 minutes. So let's start the timer. The N8N interface is dead simple. It's got a canvas right in the middle to build our workflow, and then an add button to add our nodes. When you click it, a list of all the nodes you can use pops up on the right-hand side. N8N has thousands to perform all kinds of action and connect you to hundreds of different software tools. But for now, we're going to just start with the simplest of nodes, a manual trigger. A manual trigger is just a button to start the workflow whenever we want, which is perfect for this demo. Let's click it. Check means it worked. Next, we need to get some data to work with. And in this case, we're going to get our pitch deck file. I can just click on the little plus button right here, and we're going to search for and add a Google Drive download file node. Anytime you open a node, on the left-hand side, you can see the input coming into the node. In the center is where you define the action you want the node to take, and on the right is where you'll see the output from the node. And for this example, the action is pointing it directly to the Monty deck we saw earlier. So when we start the workflow, this node's only job is to grab that specific file, and that file will become the output for the next node. Here it is. Let's hit the trigger and watch the workflow progress. Okay, it's got a check mark. Let's open the download file node. There's the file right there in the output, ready to move on. Now, let's have some fun and add an AI node. I'm going to add a special Gemini node called Analyze a Document. This node is specifically designed for document analysis. So in the input section, I can see our file. That's good. And in the action section, I can get to work. I'll pick the model we want to use. I can tell it specifically what file to look at. I'm going to pick the binary file called data. Let's check to see that matches the input. And now I can give it a prompt right in this section here in plain English. The prompt says, read this pitch deck and prepare a summary. Include a bunch of features I want, and I threw in a guardrail to stop it from driving on the sidewalk. It says, keep your summary concise and factual, just the facts. We can execute the node with this button right here. And there we have it. The output is an AI-generated factual summary of the deck with all of the requested components. Okay, now let's add an AI agent node to dig deeper and use some tools to improve on this summary. Okay, I'm just going to exit back to the main workflow up here, and then I'm going to hit the plus sign again at the end of the workflow. Now, let's connect the infamous AI agent node. You can see the AI agent node has more than just inputs and outputs. It has little connectors at the bottom. Chat model lets you pick the brain. I'm going to use Gemini, and it lets you pick the Gemini model you want. You can also pick the tools you want to let it use. I'm going to add a Google Sheet node. Just search for it up here, type in the word sheet, and connect it to a spreadsheet called Checkmate Thesis that describes all the companies we've invested in, so the agent can explore portfolio synergy. You can also rename your nodes to anything you want, and so I'm going to call this node Synergy. All right, let's just move this over here and add another tool. And now I'm going to add a node called Tavily. This lets the agent search the web. It gives the agent its own web browser. The node has an input called query. If you click this button right here, that just says let the agent decide what to search for, not something predefined. Let's move it over here. Oops, I forgot to name it. We can just open it back up, and I'm going to call it web search. Okay, so now our AI agent has some tools it can use. It has a brain. Now we need to just give it a goal. So let's open it up, and in the action section, let's give it a prompt. Here's where we enter the prompt, and let's paste one in to save some time. Okay, in plain English, it says, act as a senior VC analyst. Use the synergy tool to check for synergy. Notice I gave no explanation as to what a synergy tool actually is. I just say use it. And use the web research tool for additional research. The agent will look at the tools and figure out the best way to use them on its own. Back up here where the prompt says input data, I'm going to go over to the input side and drag over this text variable from the output of the last node right into the prompt. That step brings over the data from our previous node. We can see over here the text contains the Monty summary. I even add a guardrail. I say only facts to try and stop it from hallucinating. And that's it. Our simple AI agent is ready. We have a trigger, a step to get data, and an AI agent with a brain and a goal and access to 2 tools. Let's run it. I'll hit the execution button on our manual trigger. You can see step by step it runs. The trigger fires, grabs the Monty PDF, and now our agent, on its own, is using the tools to do its research and generate a comprehensive report. Notice how it decided on its own to use the web search tool a couple times. And after a bit more thinking, it's done. Let's check out the output and see how our agent did. Okay, look here. We have a great summary of the company, some great research. Wow, look, it hit their website to check out what they do. And in portfolio synergy, it actually found 3 different companies in our portfolio with synergy with Monty. That's really impressive. I'm super happy with these results. Okay, so now that we've seen this agent, let's jump back into the more complex McLovin and see if it's easier for you to understand. If we go back to the full McLovin workflow, you'll see it's essentially the same concept as we just built, broken down into more specialized steps. I structured this way for 3 key reasons. First is focus. Each agent has one job to do well. While a single agent could maybe handle all this complexity, you get much more reliable results when each step has a clear and narrow focus. The second is cost optimization. Different tasks need different levels of AI power. Tasks can use cheaper, faster models like Gemini Flash, but for the final synthesis and analysis, I use the latest version of ChatGPT 5 with a really comprehensive prompt. The cool part is that it's so easy to just swap out the brain and use the model that gives you the best results. The third is flexibility. By breaking it into steps, I can easily modify, test, and replace individual agents without impacting the results of the entire system. My workflow ends with what I call the admin layer. All the mundane tasks you'd normally do with the analysis. McLovin automatically drafts emails to the team, updates our database, and even prepares a personalized response draft to the founder. That voice agent you heard at the beginning, that's just an 11 Labs voice agent reading directly from our database. This is where your imagination becomes the only limit. You can connect these agents to virtually any system or process you use via APIs and webhooks. And that's just scratching the surface. People much better than me with N8N are using AI agent nodes that can use AI agent nodes as a tool. And all of the subnodes are running different models. It's really amazing. If you want to see the complete step-by-step uncut tutorial where I build the advanced McLovin system, including all the prompts, tools, and configuration, it'll be posted soon over at VCFI Launchpad. Thanks for watching AI4VC, where we deep dive the tools that are transforming venture capital. In our upcoming episodes, we're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at some amazing stuff that makes McLovin look like child's play, including Diligence GPT and Decile Hub, an AI platform to run your entire venture capital firm. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please like, comment, and share, because it was a pain in the butt to make, and McLovin and I would really appreciate it. See you at the next episode.